May this video bring you clarity, and in that clarity, a deep understanding of your true nature and the reality of who you are. I wanted to speak about awareness. I've been asked about awareness. What is awareness? Am I awareness? Who is aware? The fundamental reality is just awareness. And that is something that was so elusive, it was so hard to understand my entire life because I was trying to understand it with my mind. Again, the mind is the main impediment towards understanding the truth of who you are, your true nature as pure being, unbound being. Now, if somebody had said that to me many years ago, and still even 5 years ago, I would have understood it intellectually, but I would not have an experiential understanding. And this is the video I want to talk about, understanding it by experience and not just through thought. This is going to be the biggest challenge. Because your entire life, you have been taught to think about everything. Everything. It's like, it is relentless, the amount, how we are bombarded every single day by, I call it intrusions, thought intrusions from you walking by a billboard. You need to buy this, you need to have this, you're walking by, something is always telling you something you need to think about. Have you thought about that? No pun intended. It's too much sometimes. And I know myself, I've been in situations where, you might have a stressful day and there's more questions, more thoughts and more things, and the machine of the mind becomes relentless and it just does not stop. Has that happened to you? Where you're just like, enough, I've had enough. I just need to get away from everything. I need to get away from everybody. Have you ever had that? That's happened to me a lot. It's not that you need to get away from anybody. It's not that you need to get away from anything. You need to get away from yourself. But yourself is not who you are. That self, that person, that identity is what you have created. It is your creation. And you're sustaining it through thinking. The only reason the false self, the little me, the little ego, the person, the identity, whatever you want to call it, because it's not real, it has so many names. The only reason it feels real is because you give it attention. The only reason it feels real is because you feed it with your thoughts, you feed it with your attention. The second that you drop all attention, the second that you just ignore it, I know so much easier said than done, believe me, I know that, you will see that all there is awareness. There's a beautiful human being, a spiritual teacher, for lack of a better word. I don't believe that there are spiritual teachers because we all have this knowledge inside us. You know this already. If you are listening to me now and there's something that's resonating, that means you already have that knowledge, that seed planted within you. If what I'm saying makes absolutely no sense, then this is not the right time for you. Simply put, I had to struggle, I had to suffer, I had to realize that the person I thought I was a very dysfunctional being, not even a being, it was a program. It's like a matrix, right? It's like a program. I was programmed. You're conditioned. You're conditioned through your school, through your teachers, through society, through the media, that's a big one, through movies, through Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. It's all conditioning you. And we take it in. We just let that come in and we don't even question that, right? Have you ever thought about that too? We're just allowing ourselves, like amoebas, to be conditioned. And then we regurgitate what we've heard. And then through concepts and through stories, we're able to retell whatever that is that we thought we have learned. But that is just pure memorization. There's no, how can I say, innovation in memorization. There's no originality in that which has been regurgitated. And that's what we do most of the time. We regurgitate information that we learned. And we have conversations with people, and it's the same thing. Don't you start to realize that after a while when you're talking to people or whatever it may be? Yeah, sometimes you might delve into a very deep intellectual subject, or you might really hit a flow state where just, conversation flows. That's a beautiful thing. Then you're not really thinking, it's just flowing, right? That's your natural state. The flow state is the natural state. It's that state of pure, uncontrived, again uncontrived meaning, not made up. It's not made up. It's just real. It's just reality. So here's a little exercise for you. As I mentioned in a previous video, I don't really like exercises, but sometimes I have to admit, I did many exercises until I realized I didn't have to do it anymore. And of course, I would like to get you to that end point, but I do realize sometimes I fail in my conviction to do that, because oftentimes we do need a little bit of help, right? And as I was mentioning, I believe in my first video, I wish I had help, had this voice. I had help. I had a lot of people who were enlightened, awakened, who I had help, but everybody's kind of talking about the same thing. People who have realized their true nature are all really talking about the same thing, but using interpretations in different ways to talk about it, because we are all different from that perspective. From that very shallow level, yes, there is a difference. So the message comes out in different ways, and for some people it resonates, some people it doesn't. So let's look at awareness. You are awareness. What is awareness? If I ask you a question right now, are you aware? Meaning, are you awake? Are you alive? Are you perceiving this experience right now? Are you aware? Hopefully, again, yes, you are. Because awareness requires no effort. It requires no effort. And that's why it's so elusive. That's why it's so hard to see. Because it's always here. You are pretty much always aware. But sometimes you say, no, I wasn't aware of that. You weren't aware because you were deeply in your thoughts. You're still aware, but then think about this. If something happens or whatever it may be, and you said, no, I wasn't aware, I wasn't thinking, or what, you were aware. The fact is that your attention was somewhere else. Your attention wasn't in this moment, wasn't in the present moment. You were just thinking of something else. And the thing is, when you're really caught up in thoughts, it's like you enter, that's why it's called awakeness. You're awake or you're asleep. It's when you're asleep. Because you might be fully aware. Have you had a situation in your life where, you might be sitting at this amazing restaurant or whatever it may be, or you're taking a nice walk, you're out in nature, or doing something that you enjoy doing, but you're caught up in your mind about something, right? Something happened during the day, or you had a conversation, or somebody said something that upset you, or you're thinking about something in the future which creates anxiety, you're thinking about something in the past which creates regret and remorse possibly, or nostalgia because you wish you had it again. All those times you are not present. All those times you are back in your mind. You are not here, you are not aware. But you're aware, you still are aware that you're not aware. Meaning, you are caught up in thoughts, and it's only when the thought stops, or somebody says, hey, wake up, hey, you're dreaming, or you're caught in thought, or you're lost in thought. Have you heard that expression, you're lost in thought? I think that's very apropos. It's very, it's a great way of saying it, because that's really what happens. We become lost in thought, and we lose our sense of it feels like we lose our sense of awareness, but we just lose touch with what is here, and we're deeply caught into our minds. It's like you're putting into a trance. You're put into a state of hypnosis, actually. If you're overthinking the whole time, you're self-hypnotizing. It's a form of self-hypnosis. Get out of the trance. Wake up from that. Again, how? That's the thing. If there was such a simple way to do it, nobody would be asleep. If there was such a simple way to do it, every single human being right now would not have to watch videos like this, and would be in a state of bliss, would never have problems in their lives. They would realize their true nature, and this wouldn't be an issue. But it is an issue. It's an issue that for me, my entire life until recently, a couple years ago, I finally really understood who I was. And with that understanding, once you really realize that you are that awareness, everything that arises within this awareness. I'm in my kitchen here. I can see a cup that's arising in my awareness. That's part of my awareness. Everything you see, everything you experience is in your awareness. Otherwise, you would not be aware of it, correct? But is there a separation of what is occurring within awareness? Like a cup, right? I'm aware of it, I'm holding it. This is in my awareness. There is no separate awareness in which this cup is being held in. There's just one awareness. And it's not even one, because one creates that duality. So the whole essence, the message here is about a non-dual message, not two. Everything is one awareness. And you are immediately that because it's effortless. And it is your natural state. That is the ground of being. That is your foundation as a human being. That's how you're born. This body was born. This body was died. It's all done within awareness. Everything is in the aware state. It's not even a state. And that's the problem because it's not an objective reality. I was speaking with my brother yesterday who's had beautiful insights as well. And we were talking about the main issue is the subject-object paradigm problem, whatever you want to call it. The subject object, because we turn everything into objects. Have you noticed that? To be able to understand it, we need to create an objective reality. But reality is not objective. Reality is purely subjective. Awareness is not objective. If it were objective, you would be able to feel it and touch it and see it and think about it. But you can't think about awareness. You can't touch awareness. It's purely subjective. And it feels personal, doesn't it? But it's not personal. You are awareness. But the minute you see it through the lens of demystifying the person, of not seeing it through identity, through thought, because awareness will never be understood by thinking. You can't think about it. You are it. Just pause for 5 seconds right now. Just pause. Just stop. Drop everything. Drop absolutely everything. Let's try this together, okay? 5 seconds. Let's give this a shot. Try. I know it's not easy. And for some of you, this is going to be impossible. Believe me, I know that. But just try. Because you are the one who has the power. It's within you to do that. Try for 5 seconds. Just drop everything. Don't think about absolutely anything. Do it with me right now. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop. Thoughts are probably arising now. What is he doing? Why is he thinking, oh, I like this. This is kind of peace. Whatever. Ignore that. It's not you. You are here before that thought arises right now. You see, you're aware right now. You're aware? Are you aware right now? Yes. So you're aware of thoughts coming. You're also aware of the thoughts going. If you were the thought that you think you are, when the thought is gone, you would also be gone. But you're here as a witness to the thought. Means you are aware of the thought. So you know what you are thinking. When it's gone, but you're still aware. You are always aware. And it's effortless. I don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You're just aware right now, naturally. The minute you start engaging, the minute you start thinking about things, you go into a state of hypnosis. You go into a trance. Then you're caught in the time movement of past and future. Realize that concepts, the mind is based on concepts. And concepts typically function in the past or future. Even when we call it the present, it's not really the present. You can't think about the present. The present is just the presence. The minute you think about it, again, you're in a hypnotic state. And that's what's so beautiful about the presence, is that it is completely untainted. It is just so pure. It's so beautiful because it doesn't require anything. And that's what you are. It really is my intent to be able to help you see this. And I only speak from my heart. I only speak directly from the source of who you are. And my recommendation is take, whenever you remember, take a little time to take a pause. Drop all your thoughts, drop all the conditioning for just even for 2 seconds, even a second. Because if you are even able to do that for 1 second, you realize you're not your thoughts. You realize that you can exist without thinking. Yes, my friends, for some of you, that is like a revelation. You exist and you can exist. In fact, you can thrive. You can thrive, believe me, without thinking. Thoughts come, of course, thoughts are necessary. They will come, but they're no longer filled with identity or person. There's no longer the issues of anxiety, of stress, and so forth that consumed my life for a big part of my life. And I know it consumes the vast majority of human beings because we have an addiction to thinking. That is our biggest addiction. Thoughts are an addiction. It's an addiction. We can't stop thinking. You think it's tough to quit smoking or quit drinking? Thinking is even more difficult. Try that. Just try to stop thinking for one day. It's like, or even 1 hour. Like somebody says, somebody who's smoking, you really are addicted to cigarettes. Try for one day not to smoke. You think it's going to be difficult for them if they're smoking 3 packs a day? Same thing with thinking, but you're not smoking 3 packs, or you're not thinking 3 times packs a day. You're thinking every single second of the day. It is an incredible addiction. It is relentless. And yet we keep on doing it, and we try to find our solutions in our addiction. You're not going to find a solution in your addiction, and we are addicted to thinking. So you just have to drop it. And that, my friends, is coming from somebody who had such a difficult time dropping it, believe me. But the reason I dropped it is because I couldn't take it anymore. It was just too much struggle, too much suffering. That's what the Buddha had discovered. I mean, all of these great sages throughout time, they discovered the nature, our nature of thinking, the nature of that we've constructed through concepts. And we are powerful beings. We don't realize that. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You're far, far more than that. And you can't contemplate that, because that contemplation exists within you. You are the ultimate creator. If you haven't realized that already, I hope you do, because it's already you. Thank you for listening, and I will certainly try everything. Try everything is not really the right thing to say, but I will keep myself open to any revelations that occur that I think may be helpful for you. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Thank you so much.